This is The Line, KHNC 1360 AM, Johnstown, Denver.
I'm back. Happy 2018, everybody. Brand new year. Same old problems. Howard Riell Truth. First day, second day of the year, first show of the year. Let's kick it. Item from Breitbart. President Donald Trump lashed out at Pakistan on Twitter just a few minutes past 7 a.m. Eastern Time on New Year's Day, expressing frustration at Islamabad's inadequate efforts against terrorism and implying the U.S. foreign aid will be terminated as a result. The president tweeted, quote, "The United States has foolishly given Pakistan more than $33 billion in aid over the past 15 years, and they've given us nothing but lies and deceit, thinking of our leaders as fools. They give safe haven to the terrorists we hunt in Afghanistan with little help, no more." Unquote. Well, folks, first let's give credit where credit is due. Pakistan is right in having considered our leaders before Trump to be fools. They were, and they are. But now we have someone in the White House who is nobody's fool, and he's not going to take it anymore. Donald Trump is insisting that Pakistan get straight. And of course, if you're watching the news, Pakistan is kicking and they're frothing at the mouth and they're protesting, blah, 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 blah. Bottom line is they're on call. They've been told to straighten out their act. Yes, Pakistan, which was giving safe haven to Osama bin Laden. Pakistan, which has given safe haven to other terrorists. Pakistan, which has not earned even $1 billion of our money, let alone $33 billion. For decades and decades, I remember as a kid, the United States would shovel amazing mountains of money to countries that detested us and didn't do a thing to help us. And I always wondered, why don't the politicians do something about it? Well, you live long enough, you might just see everything. Now we've got a politician who's not a politician, and he's not playing politics as usual. I love every minute of it. I hope he stays president for the next 50 years. As far as Pakistan is concerned, get your asses in gear, toe the line, do what you're supposed to do. Or else. When other presidents have said or else, didn't mean much. When this president says it, the people of Pakistan and other countries begin to shake in their sandals. All right, it's the first show of 2018, my friend. It's Riell Truth. Stick around.
The American thing doesn't speak to people. That's 1-800-0545 to make your donation. Or send a check for the money of PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado, 80534. PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado, 80534. Help us keep voice freedom on the air. Thank you.
Choice Video Electric Import Pump reminds listeners, out of sight should not mean out of mind. Let's remember our brave men and women in the military by sending care packages to them while they are away. You need not have a specific soldier in mind to help. Just call your local veterans organization. This message is from Choice Video Electric Import Pump, your electrical and retrofit specialist. Visit them online or call 970-493-4077. That's 970-493-4077.
Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirit, whether they are of God, because many false prophets have gone into the world. By this you will know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is of God, and every spirit that does not confess that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist,
My friends, let me correct one thing that's going out in the major media. By the way, this is Howard Riell, Riell Truth, starting 2018. You see these Iranian protests, and twice this morning, I heard people on TV say, this is what freedom looks like. Wrong. It's not what freedom looks like. It's what fighting for power looks like. Don't be fooled for a minute. If these protesters were suddenly put in charge of the Iranian government, it would still be a despotic government. It would still try to destroy Israel. It would still hate America. Let's not be stupid. Here's Newt Gingrich on Fox and Friends talking about the Iranian protests and the 2018 political landscape. Go.
A guy who's not focused on sports, but focused on the sport of politics. He's the author of Vengeance. Speaker Gingrich, welcome back.
Good morning.
Good to be with you guys.
Mr. Speaker, first off, the compelling...
Last night was about as... I was going to say, last night was about as good a way to enter the new year as you could get.
Yeah,
At least if you were a Georgia fan.
That's true.
and of course you are. Absolutely. And the patriotic display before was just a stark contrast of what we've been seeing in other football games. But I was really surprised. I did not know. We do not get word out about Iranian population and the mood. We know they're young. We know they're highly educated. But, man, we are seeing their frustration bubble over, aren't we?
We are, and I think President Trump is exactly right to be pushing hard, to be publicly condemning the dictatorship. I think you're seeing the dictatorship once again, this will be the fourth time now, being delegitimized. At one point in the late 1980s, they actually killed 30,000 people to try to establish their control of the country. And I think once again, you're seeing people in Iran say, look, this is not a good deal. This is not a good standard of living. You're taking all this money Obama gave you and you're spending it on Hezbollah and on Hamas and on making trouble around the region. We want you to spend it here at home.
First of all, why was Barack Obama giving billions of American taxpayer dollars to Iran? That's number one. Number two, even if it was being spent at home, the Iranian people hate America. They hate the West. They hate Jews. If you're listening to this show, they probably hate you. What the hell are we doing giving any money to Iran? Cut them off. Cut them off. By the way, Steve Ducey, thanks for mentioning that. In his first 11 months in office, Donald Trump has taken away 98% of the land that the ISIS caliphate had controlled. Less than a year. Which begs the question, what the hell was Barack Obama doing for 8 years. What was he doing? Was he trying? Or was he helping the terrorists? That's the question.
I got a question for you.
I agree with that. Who are the people who are not getting a tax cut? Simple. Number one, people who aren't working and aren't paying taxes. Number two, idiots who live in New York, California, and other liberal states where they vote Democrats, knowing that Democrats do nothing but raise taxes. So if these jackasses in New York, California, New Jersey, if they're voting for politicians they know are going to raise their taxes, how do they have the gall to complain that they're not getting their taxes cut? They don't deserve to have their taxes cut. Call it a stupidity tax, if you like. That's what they get for voting Democrat, decade after decade. Commercial break. We'll be back.
And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network.
Chaplain Collins LLC salutes our emergency first responders for their professionalism, commitment, and bravery. They're willing to put their lives on the line for us as little or no thanks. So let's all take the time to thank our first responders for all they do for us. Also thanking our veterans for the sacrifice they made for our freedom. This message is from Chaplain Collins LLC, the two locations in Denver and Fort Collins, serving the community for over 13 years. Visit them online at chapelcollins.com. Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver line over 750,000 quarters over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play. If you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver. It's not only the best sound in America, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166.
My friends, welcome back to Riell Truth. I am your humble host, Howard Riell. What are we going to do with DACA, the Dreamers, the Dreamer Act? Well, they're talking about amnesty. They're talking about slow path to legalization. I like Ann Coulter's solution. She says deport their asses. Now, Ann Coulter. I have a question. Why do they have to... Hang on one second there. Let me pick up on something this guy just said half a minute ago. Why do they have to keep it vanilla? What does that mean? This is Breitbart TV, and they have to keep it vanilla? Isn't that also a kind of fake news? I mean, just give it to us straight. Just give us the facts. And if it is an incredibly dangerous situation, and illegal immigration is, then tell us that. Don't sugarcoat or vanilla anything
that we were promised. And is the key to whether
Yeah, we're not coming back. Your break is over, my friends. Let's go to some news before we come up on our own break. Item from Breitbart. The pro-Iranian state outlet Fars news agency accused President Donald Trump of exploiting anti-Islamist protests in the nation with, quote, outrageous and insulting comments against the repressive regime, claiming, quote, the people of Iran don't want Trump's sympathy, unquote. Well, my friends, the people of Iran won't be getting Howard Riell's sympathy because Howard Riell hasn't any for them. They are a major sponsor of terror in this world, maybe the greatest sponsor next to Saudi Arabia. As I've already mentioned, they hate the West, hate America, hate Israel. They have millions of people who follow these insane, mad mullahs. Sympathy for Iran? No. Lots of explosives for Iran? Yeah. Lots of bombs for Iran? Yeah. America's boot on Iran's scrotum? Yeah. But sympathy, no. Peace continues. In an extensive editorial, Fars appeared to belie concern within the Iranian establishment about what open support from the United States could do to boost the morale of protesters, who began taking to the streets last week to demand Iran invest more heavily in its people than in Hezbollah and other terrorist pursuits. Lest he forgets, this is an internal matter, and the people of Iran don't want Trump's sympathy, the editorial argues. In fact, they've been paying a heavy price for Washington's unjustified sanctions, a regime and hostility since the revolution of 1979. Unquote. My friends, for the historians out there, what happened in 1979? Oh, yes. That was the year Iran took dozens, I should say, scores of American hostages, held them for 444 days. They took America's hostages, American hostages. But let's be nice to Iran. Iran, which is racing to have a nuclear program with deliverable warheads from ICBMs. Let's be real nice to Iran. What do you say? Trump is in no position to sympathize with Iranians through his outrageous and insulting comments, the column continues. Simply put, people attach no value to his opportunistic remarks. A man of no fixed beliefs and values, unquote. Well, that's an idiotic lie. He's the only presidential candidate in my lifetime who had fixed beliefs and values. We'll be back.
Animal House Taxidermy in Brighton would like to take this time to say thank you to all the brave men and women in the armed forces who have served our country. Business owners, consider hiring veterans, our most dependable resource. And to those heroes back home for missions abroad, know that your dedication, selflessness, and courage are appreciated. May God bless America. This message is from Animal House Taxidermy in Brighton, proud to salute the fighting forces of our country.
This is my goal. The American Freedom Network needs your peaceful at 1-800-05 to make this donation. Or send a check for the money over to PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado. 80534, PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado. 80534.
John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, "I am not the Messiah." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19 through 21.
The associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter. No one anywhere is more noble, righteous, ethical, or courageous than our United States Armed Forces. These brave men and women and their families foot the bill for our freedom every day. Send the military care package today to let them know that they are in our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts. This message is from the associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter on Highway 287 in Lafayette. They're on the air because they care. We look at the pocket plan and remind our parents that the drug problem is well documented. We know our kids will be a purpose of education. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who have had the strength to say no to drugs. They provide examples to the peers and families to be the best they can be. Let's promote it with the pocket plan located at 366 Street in the Wood. Serving our area 1943 and specializing in natural life HB and 4 and complete custom process. Call 303-688-2240. That's 303-688-2240. The people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
Guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. Let me ask you men out in my audience a question. Ask you a question, a simple question. Do you think you would run faster and jump higher if you cut off your sexual organs? It's a question. Transsexuals want to compete in the Olympics, and they will be competing in the upcoming Winter Olympics against women. Men who've had their whatses hacked off and put on bras and wigs will be competing against women. What do you think of that? Well, here is Mark Stein sitting in for Tucker Carlson talking to a trans athlete about exactly that. Let's listen in. And please contain your laughter. If it seems arbitrary and unrelated to reality, as Mark Stein well knows, it's because it is arbitrary, and no, it has nothing to do with reality, everything to do with political correctness, everything to do with politicians and organizational leaders wanting to kiss the ass of anybody who might seem to show them in a bad light. It's all CYA and PC. I'm giving you a spelling lesson. Obviously, men should not be able to compete against women. Last year, there was a case of an MMA fighter, a transgender guy against a natural-born woman. He not only beat her viciously, I think he broke her eye socket. Now, is that okay with you? It seems insane to me. Sweetie, why don't you lower it to 3? If biological female athletes are at 3, why don't you lower it to 3? Is it because you want some kind of an advantage? Well, hang on a second. If they have changed their gender, why do they have to use chemicals to keep their hormones low? I mean, they're women, right? But if they have the hormones of men, then they're not women. They're men who look like women, who've been mutilated physically to appear more like women, but their hormones apparently don't agree. So are their hormones homophobic? That's what I'm not understanding. I don't think we're killing women's sport by DNA testing. I think we're killing women's sports by allowing men who've had their whatses cut off to compete against them. Women cannot compete 90% of the time against a man in sports. Just can't. And now that they're going to have an influx of trans athletes going in there, women are done. Women, top elite women professional athletes, amateur athletes are finished. That is what PC will get you. Anytime I see some woman athlete on TV running her mouth, invariably she's spouting liberal talking points. Good! Prepare for your career in sports to end. Because certainly each and every sport will have its own transgender wackazoid coming and competing and winning against women. So women's sports will become a laughingstock and it will begin to go away. And that's what we as a society get for allowing stupidity to run rampant, for allowing PC to control us, for doing what's obviously crazy because no one wants to say that the king wears no clothes. We'll be back with more Real Truth, my friends. Stick around. It's 2018, in case you haven't noticed.
And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God. taught at any time, the only begotten Son who is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16. Article 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. If catastrophe struck, would your family be prepared? Are you confident you wouldn't react in a panic? Is there one place to get all of your emergency supplies? Barrett Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. Barrett Survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality, realistic preparedness supplies at an affordable price. Go online, stop by, or call 303-781-0343. Barrett Survival. American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown reminds parents, keep an eye on your child while shopping. Children tend to stray or become lost. Poses an opportunity for a would-be abductor. Please make every effort to keep track of your little ones at all times. If you have information regarding a lost child, call local authorities at once. This message is from American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown. For residential or commercial window tinting, call 303-263-4228.
My friends, it may have been the single most important news item of 2017. Donald Trump saying he's going to move the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem and recognizing officially that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. It was a spectacular thing to do. Here is former Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld on the Ingram angle with Laura Ingram before the new year, talking about exactly what that decision means. Here we go. So those countries, Egypt, Jordan, Palestinians, that's not a country, it's just a collection of murderers and terrorists. Saudi Arabia, Turkey, they're all up in arms about Jerusalem being the capital of Israel. Because they all hate Jews. Now, here's an inside secret. Come closer to the radio. I don't want anybody else to hear this. They hate you too. If you're a Christian, they hate you. If you're a Hindu, they hate you. If you're a Muslim, but not their kind of Muslim, they hate you. Because they don't do very much other than hate. And so who cares what they have to say about anything?
Its ties with Israel.
Yeah, the bargaining chip hasn't worked in 40 years or more. The people who say Trump is losing a bargaining chip are anti-Semites and morons. Their position is, well, we've been doing it for 40 years and it hasn't worked, so let's keep doing it. That's exactly the attitude that's just about brought the United States of America to death's door. Trump has got courage, and he's a moral individual, does what's right, even if it's not popular, and you have to respect that.
Agree.
Yeah, the Muslims have been reacting violently to Donald Trump for 14 centuries. Muslims have been angry at Donald Trump and are venting for 1,400 years. So when the media tells you that their violence is a result of Donald Trump's decision, you know that that is a media outlet that is lying to your face. They know it. They're hoping that you are stupid enough not to know it. Item from Breitbart. Migrants from countries like Eritrea, Cameroon, and Mexico have flooded the U.S. southern border in San Diego to such an extent in recent days that U.S. border officials have been unable to process them without long lines forming on the Tijuana side of the border. Nearly 100 migrants lined up in a plaza on the Mexico side of the border that leads to the San Ysidro pedestrian border crossing in San Diego last week because of the backlog. According to the San Diego Union Tribune, Mexican officials told those who tried to sleep in the plaza they had to leave. Eritrean migrants cited in the article claimed that last Monday, 25 migrants were temporarily jailed for waiting in the plaza. One of the Eritrean migrants told the Tribune he felt racism, quote, big discrimination and no respect in Mexico, unquote. Well, that's right, Mr. Eritrean migrant. Mexico doesn't respect you. And we shouldn't respect Mexico. Aside from a few resorts, it's basically a toilet. And when they get up on their hind legs, we should wrap them on a snout with a rolled up newspaper. Mexico takes orders from us, not the other way around. And why we're still taking migrants into the United States, I can't see any earthly reason to do so unless they are professionals who can carry their weight and contribute to our society. Bringing in people who don't speak English, don't have educations, don't have skills, don't have jobs. Why the hell would any intelligent country do that? We'll be back.
Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirit, whether they are of God, because many false prophets have gone into the world. By this you will God. And this is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have already heard was coming and is now already in the world. 1 John 4:1.
No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debt, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contract, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10.
Chaplain Collins LLC are emergency first responders for their professional commitment free. They're willing to put their lives on the line for us with little or no thanks. So let's all take the time to thank our first responders for all they do for us. Also thanking our veterans for the sacrifice they made for our freedom. This message is from Chaplain Collins LLC, the 2 locations in Denver and Fort Collins, serving the community for over 14 years. This is online at chapelcollins.com.
Piccolo's restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play. If you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's restaurant in Denver is not only the best discounted and effective thing, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166.
And welcome back to Riell Truth. My friends, let's congratulate Baltimore. Let's have a round of applause for the city of Baltimore, longtime Democratic stronghold. They've reached a new milestone, and we've got to congratulate them. Item from the New York Post. Baltimore has set a new per capita homicide record, as gunmen killed for drugs, cash, payback, or no apparent reason at all. A surge of homicides in the starkly divided city resulted in 343 killings in 2017, bringing the annual homicide rate to its highest ever, roughly 56 killings per 100,000 people. Baltimore, which has shrunk over decades, currently has about 615,000 inhabitants. Not only is it disheartening, it's painful, Mayor Catherine Pugh told the Associated Press during the final days of 2017. My friends, listen closely to me. Baltimore is a toilet. Now, if you're going to say to me, but how could it be? Democrats have been running Baltimore for decades and decades. Obviously, if Democratic policies and programs worked, Baltimore would be a utopia. Yes, that's correct. It would be. If Democratic policies and programs worked. Item from Reuters. Dateline Jerusalem, Israel's parliament passed an amendment on Tuesday that would make it harder for it to cede control over parts of Jerusalem in any peace deal with the Palestinians, who condemn the move as undermining any chance to revive talks on statehood. Stop. My friends, how pathetic are the liberals in the state of Israel? They needed to pass a law in order not to give away their capital city and by doing so commit suicide. They needed to legislate that. Also, why are they passing laws to make sure they don't lose? How about passing laws to make sure you win? Item from Breitbart. Black American residents of Baltimore, Maryland are now blaming a lower police presence for the city's soaring murder rate, despite 3 years of Black Lives Matter activists insisting police be pulled from their neighborhoods, unquote. So let me get this straight. In Democratic Baltimore, Black Lives Matters have been screaming for years they want the police out of their neighborhoods. So the city pulled the police out of their neighborhoods. More people are getting murdered. And so now those same activists are unhappy? Well, I don't know. Increasingly, when I look at the word activist, I see the words human shield. Item also from Breitbart. President Trump reduced foreign refugee admissions by roughly 70%, 7-0, in nearly the first year of his presidency, a new report reveals. Center for Immigration Studies researcher Nyla Rush released a new study comparing refugee admissions to the U.S. under Trump versus those under former President Barack Hussein Obama. During the first 11 months of Trump's presidency, the populist nationalist president cut the number of foreign refugees entering the U.S. by about 70%, according to Russia's research. My friends, we have a lot of work to do. I want to stop the number of people coming here more than by 70%. Let's make it 95%. Let's make it excruciatingly difficult to get into the United States legally. Let's only have highly educated, highly motivated people with great job skills. Let's let them in, and everybody else, well, they can pound salt. I will see you tomorrow with more Real Truth. Hasta luego.